Hi friends, welcome back to Nelly Nummies. Today we're making our crock pot meatballs with a mushroom cream gravy. It's a nice plate full of comforting goodness. Let's start by making our meatballs. You can use frozen store-bought meatballs such as this. But if you want to make them homemade, 1 pound ground beef, half pound pork sausage or ground pork, 2/3 cups bread crumbs, 1/2 to 1 teaspoon onion powder, 1/2 to 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and then about 1/2 to 1 teaspoon black pepper, and same thing with salt, 1/2 to 1 teaspoon salt. You're also going to need 2 whole eggs to help bind everything together. And then mix it all together. I like using my hands because, well, it's easy, but you can use a spoon or spatula too. Once it's mixed together, we're going to make our meatballs. I like to use a cookie scoop to make things easy. Roll them to about a golf ball size. You want to kind of keep them even or kind of small in size. Makes it cook faster. Roll these out and put them onto a plate just so it's all ready to go. Once you got them all made, we're going to fry them up on the stove. Grab a large skillet and add 2 to 3 tablespoons of oil to it and heat it over medium-high heat. And then once it's warm, you're going to plop in your meatballs. Try to leave a little bit of space between all of them just so that they can get nice and brown and crisp. And you're going to cook these for about 2 to 3 minutes per side, or at least flip it once. And you want to get that nice golden brown color. This helps seal in some of those flavors. And don't worry about cooking these all the way through, as these will finish cooking in the crock pot. Once you have the tops and bottoms golden brown, spray your crock pot with a little bit of oil and transfer your cooked meatballs to the crock pot to keep warm. We're going to turn on to warm and put the lid on just so it stays warm while we finish cooking up the rest of our meatballs. Repeat the same process with your second batch of meatballs or until you cook up all of your meatballs you made. Now let's make our mushroom sauce. Add 1 pound of sliced mushrooms. I'm using a mix of white mushrooms and then baby bellas. You want to cook these over a medium-high heat for 4 to 5 minutes or until they start turning golden brown like this. Be sure to toss them and turn them. And about halfway cooking through, add in about 1/2 cup of grated or diced onion. And then you're going to cook this until the onion's soft, about another 2 to 4 minutes or until the mushrooms are done. Be sure to stir regularly so nothing burns. Now let's add our 2 teaspoons of garlic diced up and cook it for another minute until it's nice and fragrant. And we're going to add in 3 tablespoons of butter that I forgot to add in the very beginning. But hey, we added in there, it'll work. It'll still taste great. Now we're going to add in our 3 cups of beef stock or broth. Either or works fine. You can also use a veggie broth or a mushroom stock. And then add in 1 to 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. Give it a good stir. Make sure everything's well combined. You want to bring it up to a nice simmer just like this so it's nice and bubbly, and then you're going to add in salt and pepper to preference. I did about a 1/4 teaspoon at most. And you carefully pour this over your meatballs, ensuring not to spill it everywhere because that would hurt and burn. And then cover this with a lid once you get your meatballs submerged. And cook it on low 4 to 6 hours or high 2 to 4 hours. Once your meatballs are nice and cooked here, we're going to take the meatballs out and put them into a bowl just to set aside for a little bit. And then we're going to make a little slurry to help thicken the sauce. We're going to use 3 tablespoons of cornstarch and add that to 1/2 cup of heavy cream. Can also use milk, but heavy cream is preferred. And you're gonna mix the slurry up well. It might take a little bit. It's gonna be a bit of a thick paste. And you're gonna pour this into your broth while your crock pot is still on. And give it a good stir, making sure it's well combined, and the sauce should thicken up within a couple of minutes. Be sure to stir regularly just so everything doesn't scald. And once it's nice and thick, then you're going to add in your meatballs back into the sauce, just so that they can get coated in that yummy goodness. Once you have your meatballs all tossed up in the gravy, you can either serve immediately or cover with a lid to keep warm. Whatever works. I like to serve these over a bed of noodles, but rice or mashed potatoes works well. Or this makes a great appetizer on its own as well. I hope you guys have fun making these. I find this to be a nice, comforting meal with the tender meatball combined with the creamy mushroom gravy. It's just so good. But thank you guys so much for joining me. And remember, please be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
Just enjoy the ride. I know man passing by, life is good, best I've ever